Hey guys, it's Sully and we're back with part 2 of the Gods Will Fall achievement-focused playthrough. We just took out Karnakas and now we're ready to head up to the Morrigan dungeon. And through a stroke of luck that you can't expect to have with any sort of likeliness, I did get the Morrigan steel ingot, so that's changed my course of action for this playthrough. I was going to do a no item playthrough for the Keep It Simple achievement. Instead, we're going to use that ingot in the Morrigan dungeon to create a tier 5 weapon and defeat Morrigan with it to unlock an achievement that I had planned on getting later. I guess I kind of had hoped to maybe find the ingot at some point in this run and then drop it into the well, and that would allow me to then start a new run and get the ingot on that group and then do this achievement separately. But since we have it now, we're going to do it now. So as you may remember, my first character that I used had some maximum health reduction as a random event after defeating Karnakas, so I'm not going to use her. Instead I'll use the other guy, Khan, and I'll send him in with the ingot so that he can use the special forge to make a tier 5 spear. The reason I come to this dungeon second is because I generally wouldn't expect you to have the ingot, and there are 6 forges, basic forges in this dungeon that you can use, and they have a chance to increase the power of your weapon. So I've got a tier 1 spear, and when I put this spear into a basic forge, it can either go up 1, down 1, or stay the same. Well, I mean, I guess at tier 1 it can't go down 1. So, you have 2 options at tier 1 to either go up to tier 2 or stay the same. And then once you're at tier 2, if you use a forge, then you could go down, up, or stay the same. I'll illustrate that here in a minute. So you see here is one of the 6, the first of 6 basic forges. So I'll go up and interact with it, and it'll tell me, the forge has a chance to strengthen your weapon. Success cannot be guaranteed. So I'll go ahead and cast my weapon into the forge. And it's, a coin flip here, essentially. And we failed. The weapon remained unchanged. So now if I hit pause and go to warrior info in the upper right, you can see I've got a 1 out of 4 stars for my weapon. And we would like to get that up to 4, essentially. I mean, if I didn't have the steel ingot, that would be my goal. My general plan is to come here early, not worry about getting an ingot for tier 5, and just try to make a tier 4 weapon using the forges. So I accidentally interacted with this forge while I was fighting this guy. So I'll cast my weapon in. And this time, yes, the weapon was made stronger. So let me kill this guy real quick. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to parry him and throw him off to unlock an achievement. And there's also an achievement for doing that 10 times in a dungeon, so I'm going to try to get that out of the way as well. I got to whack the chain here to bring down the platform. So yeah, I'll go ahead and attempt to parry 9 more enemies and throw them off the edge. That's number 2. And I mistimed that. And I mistimed that as well. Let's focus here. Alright, so that's going to be 3. Got to heal a little bit. Here's an item bag. I'll go ahead and grab that again. I didn't plan on picking up item bags. I didn't plan on using items, but since I have to use the ingot right here on the special forge to make a tier 5 weapon, I'm going to go ahead and grab items and plan on using them to make everything easier. So if you don't have the Morrigan steel ingot, you can't interact with this forge. I have it. It gives me the option, and now it's going to take my currently tier 2 spear and turn it into a tier 5 spear, which you couldn't make in any other way without finding the ingot and bringing it to this forge. So there we go. Now I have a 5-star spear. And you'll see graphically it's glowing with embers, and it's very strong. So I'm not even going to bother using the smaller forges anymore because they can only hurt me at this point. I'm just going to stick with this tier 5 weapon and ideally ride it through the whole game. So I think that was the fourth guy now that I've parried and thrown off. I lost count, of course. We'll go ahead and say 5 there. I think. Should be an enemy right up here. I'll try to lure him down to the edge. We'll say 6 there. Now we'll head outside. Alright, that was terrible. Having some timing problems here. Let's just back up and collect ourselves and not die here. Just kill him. Regain some health. Alright. Try to get refocused here. Something I will mention is that if you are going for a no item run, you absolutely can pick up enemy weapons and throw them. That doesn't interfere with that at all. I'm just going to kill a few of these guys and try to regenerate some health before I worry about parries. Need to break this chain. That's the third forge. We're of course ignoring him. I'm going to head outside to this little dead end area. There's an enemy out here. I want to say that's the 7th one, and there's an item bag here as well. Bone meal snuff. Oh, that's a consumable that gives you a brief, the ability to not get staggered when you're hit by enemies, so you can, it doesn't interrupt your attacks, essentially. It's good against some of the bosses. So I think that's 8. That should be 9. Alright, and there we go. That, I believe, is 10. Hopefully, yep, there's the achievement for throwing 10 enemies off of the ledge in a single dungeon. That's now out of the way. I can go back to attacking normally. Now I'll probably go ahead and clear out the rest of the enemies here just to weaken the boss. And again, if you clear out all the enemies in a dungeon, you generally take off about 25% of the boss's health. But I've got a tier 5 weapon, so I'm going to tear the bosses up. But whatever. The 5th forge would be right down here. Sometimes there's an item bag out here and there. I got the achievement for doing 50 damage without taking any damage. I knew that would come eventually. And something else to note is that if you're fighting an enemy who's on a slope like this, the heavy poke attack stinks because it doesn't go up the slope. It just goes straight ahead and often misses. But light attacks will guide you up the slope and hit the enemy as expected. So if you're ever fighting on a slope and you're missing with the heavy attacks, use the normal attack, the X attack. Thrown weapons deal damage based on the tier of your weapon. So all the thrown weapons that I do will be doing basically tier 5 damage. So they're going to be really strong for the rest of the run as well. Just need to cross my fingers that this guy doesn't get crippled through RNG as a post-boss reward or detriment. But time will tell, we'll see. Trying to poke this guy like a dummy with the strong attack here. I just hit him with a weak attack and kill him. One last guy before we head back outside. One more outside area with several enemies. And you can see the tier 5 spear just eats these guys up. If I had a tier 1 or tier 2 spear here, it would be taking multiple hits to break their armor and then 3 or 4 hits to kill them. But this weapon is so strong that it just kind of chews through everything. This guy can kind of be annoying with the charges. Let's see if I can get things a little better under control here and not get knocked off or die. I did not mean to do a jumping attack there, but whatever. He's dead. We'll heal a bit and move on. Sometimes it's easy to just kind of flail or aimlessly and take unnecessary damage. So back inside in this area, we're going to kill this enemy, and you just want to be careful in this next section where there's a moving platform smashing into the solid platform, and you need to jump across and over that, that orange blade, essentially. It's almost like, being anviled, and then you have to carefully jump onto this platform. Now this lift is going to start moving up, and there's an achievement tied to this lift, and essentially what you would need to do is get to the top without taking damage from the enemies that appear, and with only using parries and throws to attack them. And it's random in terms of how many enemies are going to spawn. There's always going to be 3 waves. There's going to be 3 waves of 1 enemy, 3 waves of 2 enemies, like we have here, or 3 waves of 3 enemies. So I messed up the parry right from the start, so I just went ahead and started attacking them normally. And what you probably have to do to get this achievement is start a new run and just sprint to this level, sprint through the level, and get to the lift and hope it's just 3 waves of 1 enemy that you can just carefully parry off one at a time, and that would satisfy the achievement. Here's the 6th forge. Of course, we don't need it. So now we'll just head outside, and now it's on to the boss. Now, the way this boss works is he's basically a giant bird. He's going to kind of fly in and hide behind his wings, which act like a shield, and then he'll occasionally open his wings to start doing attacks to you. And you can see right there's one of 3 daggers stuck in the ground. And what you want to do, the best strategy here, is to grab one of those daggers, ready a throw, and try to throw and hit him in the face with it when he opens his wings. And if you do it with the right timing, you'll stun him, and you can just go in and destroy him. Trying to go toe-to-toe otherwise is just annoying because of the way his attacks work and the way he shields himself. So I'll grab the dagger. Looked like I hit him, but I was a little too slow. So I'll come over and grab another dagger. Hit him in the face. He's stunned. And now this tier 5 weapon is just going to decimate him before he even recovers. And there he's defeated. So that'll unlock the 2 achievements as expected. Defeat him with a tier 5 weapon, which again we were lucky to get because the ingot was an extremely lucky drop from the first boss. And then just the basic achievement for defeating him. And my character will exit the dungeon, and we'll get the rewards. Hopefully I don't get any, negative effects to this character with a tier 5 weapon. Then we'll see what sort of, random level up stuff we get, what sort of RNG items we get, and weapons. So it looks like nothing bad happened to my character. He gained a skill. Everybody got some different stats. A few consumable items that I randomly earned by defeating the god. And for weapons, nothing really incredible. I'm not, I have a tier 3 double weapon there, but I don't even have a character with a double weapon. So I'll try to, dole out the tier 2 weapons to some of these other characters that I don't even plan on using. And that'll be that. So yeah, I don't even have a guy that can use this tier 3 double weapon. I don't like the double weapons anyway. And I'll just discard these and move on. So now, that's 2 gods down, 8 to go. Take a quick look at the map. And from here we'll take a shortcut up to Belenos, and we'll continue with this god and his dungeon in the next video.